Hello, hello, and welcome. We are going to talk about my fall TBR list. I've been waiting a long time to read some of these books simply because I'm waiting for the right atmosphere for it. I'm really hoping the books I picked out for like October, November, that they will really satisfy this craving I have. The first on my list is Maurice by E.M. Forster. It says, begun 1913, finished 1914, dedicated to a happier year. The author had requested that this book only be published after his death, which is just so sad to think about because the reason he requested that is because this novel deals with homosexuality. But I've heard that it's not a tragedy, so I'm sure there's going to be sad things that happen, but ultimately our queer character is not, suffering endlessly until his untimely death. So yeah, looking forward to Maurice. Then we have a classic, Oscar Wilde, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Upon researching this, I discovered that this was Oscar Wilde's only novel, and I don't know why I didn't know that before. If you didn't know that either, then welcome, now you know, just like me. And this novel falls within the Victorian era of literature, so it was published in 1890. Because it's a Victorian era novel, I'm super excited to revisit this. I have already read this, but keep in mind, I read this when I was like 16, 17, and I don't think I had fully appreciated the, explicit language of the novel. Explicit not in the terms of, anything jarring or shocking, but just that I was looking too much at the metaphorical language that I wasn't, I guess, appreciating enough of just what the plain, superficial text was revealing. And I think it can be so beautiful to just look at a book for its writing. This novel deals with, well, I'm sure many of you know this already, but this deals with our character gets his portrait drawn and he becomes so dismayed at the realization that one day he'll get old and ugly, but his portrait, which, looks so gorgeous to himself, will stay truly beautiful. And in sort of like a Faustian deal with the devil, he ends up committing mortal sins to stay young forever. So yay, slay. I saw a funny Goodreads comment that was like, rip Dorian Gray, you would have loved Botox. I love it when like young people, read these classics, and I think Oscar Wilde never would have imagined what sort of comments he would get in current society, because the more I was reading about Oscar Wilde, the more, tragic his life came up to me, because I did not realize that he ended up in basically as an outcast in poverty because of his trials. He was tried for sodomy, back in the day in English law. Homosexual acts with men were outlawed, and yeah, he ended up being caught. I also learned while reading more about Oscar Wilde, can you tell I went on some Wikipedia deep dives, okay? That he was studying at Oxford right around the time that aestheticism was becoming very popular. So he focused a lot on beauty as an art form, and that beauty should be the ultimate goal of art and not necessarily the substance. So I'm interested to now read this novel from knowing that perspective that he studied, and whether or not that affirms what he studied, or does this novel perhaps deviate from the initial like education that he received, and how is that reflective of the times. A lot of times these classical novels are classics because they are able to withstand time and trend, and that they reveal something so deep about human nature that it doesn't technically matter what era it comes from, it can still deeply resonate with people now. But I also find it so interesting to look at classics from the lens of the culture and society of the time, and how does that relate to the author who wrote it. I guess that's something I was considering when I was reading more about Oscar Wilde, and how I do want to approach the novel from the perspective of understanding him and his words and his intentions. Next up on my list, we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Fairies. Oh my gosh, I started this back in March, April, it was like the springtime, okay? And it was such a cozy read, and I really loved it. I don't know why I dropped it. Again, it was one of those things where it's like, I love this so much, and somehow I cannot pull myself through it. I have to just be in the right mood for it, and now is the right mood. I'm so excited to pick this up again. I've heard it's a romance. I did not know that when I bought it. I just heard that this is a very cozy book, so that sold me. And now knowing that it's a romance, I shouldn't say I'm letting my biases get to me, but I am quite nervous because I don't really read romance. But I should specify, like, heterosexual romance novels. I cannot find any reason why the protagonist, the female protagonist, would want to pursue the male protagonist. And it's like, I find no merit in any of their pursuits. The setup in this novel is quite good. I think the main love interest is like this other professor that she's competing with, and now they're assigned, or not even really assigned, they're working on the same project together, and I think that could bring them closer. And you know what? I will stand with the heterosexuals on this. The straights can have a win for once. I'm really gonna try to release my biases and just root for this couple to make me feel some butterflies and make me feel all the cozy, happy vibes. Then we have The Shepherd. This is a novel I ordered because my mom was like, oh my gosh, I just read an amazing novel. This was published in 1975. Yeah. And my mom told me, like, don't read anything about it. Like, don't read the synopsis, don't look into anything before you read this book. Go into it completely blind. And that's what I'm going to do. So actually, I won't even reveal anything to you because I will do zero research for this. I want to go into it very surprised. I'm guessing because my mom liked it and she is someone who likes a lot of plot twists and sort of suspenseful thriller-esque novels. I'm imagining this is going to be a book where it seems to be one thing and then takes like a drastic, rather dark, sinister turn. And I vibe with that too. I think my mom influenced me perfectly in that way. So yeah, I'm hoping it will match a sort of creepy atmosphere, dare I say, you know, perfect for Halloween. But I will keep you guys updated on that. And then I ordered the book Fingersmith. So Fingersmith, I already sort of know the basic premise because of the Korean film The Handmaiden. Really hope I like it because I know in my mind I've hyped it up big. Like, come on, a sapphic, like, historical romance. But it's categorized as like a crime novel, and based on The Handmaiden, it's definitely gonna be good. So that is what is up. Oh, and then lastly, I want to read Eileen. So with Eileen, I'm kind of forgetting what it was about, but I just remember I randomly got a YouTube ad for the trailer. So it had Anne Hathaway in it, like she stars as one of the main characters, and oh my god, I love Anne Hathaway, just mother. In this movie, she plays, hold on, it was not a secretary. I think her name is Rebecca too. I'm like, please, I'm blushing. Anyway, hold on. There's a 24-year-old girl called Eileen, and she works as a secretary in a juvenile corrections center. The director of education is called Rebecca, and Eileen very much develops a crush on Rebecca, who is older and apparently stylish and quite glamorous. Apparently the novel, oh my gosh, I just said apparently like that boy from the meme. Apparently the novel is not super explicitly queer. It's like highly suggested that Eileen has a crush on Rebecca, and I don't think there's anything like sexual or explicit that does happen between them. But you know, we love the yearning. You know, the queer yearning is something that I'm just so excited to read about. I think maybe that's what's drawn me to Maurice as well. It's just like, it's such a universal, like, gay experience. I really do wonder if, like, heterosexual people feel yearning this intensely. Anyway, that sums up all of the books I want to read for the fall. I know it's not the typical TBR list for the fall, or especially October with Halloween. You know, a lot of people turn to Dracula or Frankenstein, or I don't know, even like Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo if you're looking for something a bit more like fantasy or dark academia even. But I don't know. I'm just really yearning. Oh my gosh, yearning. I am. I'm really looking forward to diving into some sort of queer, classic, potentially gothic literature, and then also some cozy vibes along the way. So, yeah, there will be hopefully a very uplifting, fun, enthusiastic review of all of these books coming out soon. And I hope you guys have a great reading month or months of the fall. So let me know what's on your list, and if you've read or enjoyed any of these, please let me know and we can yap about it in the comments. That's it from me. Have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.